Hey, welcome. This is the beginning of your journey to build, of course, your own portfolio using the SPA approach. You're going to have a single page application, and in the way you are going to learn everything about the build stack. It means the stack composed by Vue, Inertia.js. Those are the best partners ever for the frontend. And of course, we will have Laravel and Tailwind CSS for the styling of your single page application for your portfolio. So before the beginning, well, we need the glue. We need, in fact, the kernel of our project, and the kernel of that is going to be Laravel. Laravel is going to provide us all the structures that we need to handle the backend. It means basically the logic, the controllers, etc., and the front end as well, including and integrating that with Vue and specifically with Inertia.js. In the process, we are going to discover about Laravel Jetstream as well, which is going to allow us to easily include all of those technologies and additionally have a completely functional and out of the box authentication and registration for users. So let's begin with that because, well, as I said, Laravel is the kernel of our project. For that, we need to use Composer, and we are going to, well, install the structure of a Laravel project from scratch. So for that, we just need to issue in our command prompt Composer create dash project, and then this is going to be a Laravel slash Laravel. Yes, Laravel is basically a Laravel project, of course. And finally, we need to specify the folder on which we are going to download and update the structure of our entire framework. This is going to be downloaded inside this specific folder. Don't worry, you can do that in any other folder of your system. Doesn't matter if you are on Windows, on Mac, on Linux. It is going to work exactly the same once you are sure that you have Composer and of course you have PHP. We are not going to go with that because this is not exactly the code for that. If you have some issues, some doubts about that, just let me know, or you can even take the course from scratch about Laravel where you are going to learn everything about this. So again, we just need to specify the name of the folder. This is going to be SPA-portfolio, and we just need to press enter. At this point, Composer is going to obtain the latest structure of Laravel on the latest version. Doesn't matter which version it is, I always recommend you to use the latest one. In this case, we are in the 9, but you could be in the 9.1, 9.2, 10, whatever that is in the moment that you are taking this class, it is going to work. Don't worry, even if it is not the version that we are using during the course, I'm going to make sure to get all of that working for you. So again, the recommendation is to use the latest version possible. If you want to follow the course using my own version, there are going to be probably some differences along the courses, along the classes, depending on when we are installing the different versions of the dependencies. So again, the recommendation is to stick with the latest one. But once again, you are completely free, and if you know what you are doing, install the version that you prefer, considering that there are going to be some differences. So let's wait for the process to get done. And in the meantime, we can go to our code editor. In this case, I'm going to personally use Sublime Text 4 or any version that is available at this moment. And essentially, you can use the same, or again, it is your environment, it is your project, so you can use anything that you prefer. You can use Sublime as I'm doing, you can use Visual Studio Code, PHP Storm, NetBeans, Eclipse, wherever that you prefer that is going to work to you. I recommend to use this. I'm going to use this one. I feel comfortable using it, but once again, use wherever that you prefer. So we're just going to open that folder. This is going to be, of course, here in the name that we prefer, that is SPA portfolio, as we can see here. Select that folder, and here we have the entire structure of Laravel, which has been already downloaded by our Composer. You can see here, everything was installed out of the box for us, automatically resolving all of the dependencies on the corresponding and preferably latest version. Everything is exactly here. So at this point, we should have a perfectly functional Laravel project, and to verify that, we just need to go here in our command prompt once we are sure that we have here our current structure and configure it to execute a PHP artisan serve. And then we need to go to SPA portfolio. There it is. And we can execute PHP artisan. And you can see so the set of commands that we have. And of course, one of those is PHP artisan serve. This is going to start a small server that is going to be perfectly fine for us in our local environment. And if we go into our browser there, we can get the default response from Laravel specifying the PHP version, specifying the current specific version of Laravel. Again, this is going to be very different for you depending on the time that you are taking the course. But again, if you got a success response here, everything is going fine. So before to finish, we just need to configure some small things in our environment, which is going to be the app name. We're going to call this SPA portfolio. Could be anything that you prefer, of course. And if you are using spaces in the name of the application, be sure to use the double quotation here. And additionally, we're going to specify the URL. As you can see, it is going to be in the local IP address and the port 8000. That's everything for our side. At this point, we already downloaded the full structure of Laravel. We are using the latest version. I recommend you to use the latest version, of course. We configured the name and the base URL for it, and we are completely sure that it is working using PHP Artisan Serve and watching that in our proper browser. So that's all during this class. Let's go to the following one to stick configuring and preparing some things for our entire portfolio. You're going to see how class by class, line by line, we're going to be preparing and creating everything from scratch, as you can see. See you there.